Hello again, everyone. I'm back with a review of the Galaxy Z Flip 6. I've used this as one of my primary phones for the past month, and I wanted to go ahead and give you my thoughts on it. I actually been pretty impressed with it so far, but let's get into some of the specifics. I'll go ahead and kind of run down the categories I usually run down when I do these reviews, and I'll start with the build quality. Overall, it seems solid. I have it in crafted black. As you can see, I did the unboxing video, and it's a really beautiful color. I really do like the frame. The color of it is just a really deep black, and it has that kind of sort of like a D brand sticker feel to it on the back of it. But I usually have it in the case, so I honestly don't really feel that much. I do know that, so I think it looks great. The hinge itself is really strong. I do know that some people were having issues with like it making a sound, like a crackly sound. And I did actually have that issue for the first few times. Actually, I'd say for the first couple of days, but it's gone away. I haven't had that experience since. So I will say that it's a little more squared off than I had the Z Flip 4 and the Z Flip 5 for a little bit. This is a little more squared off. It kind of keeps that design language of the Z Fold 6. And, I think this phone is small enough where you don't really feel it as much as you would on like a bigger phone because it's just much smaller to carry. You can just really hold it pretty easily in one hand. So it's akin to those other phones that Samsung has in their lineup. So it kind of keeps that same design language. Overall, it's nice. The outer screen is nice and solid. It functions perfectly fine. I think the screen itself is and it gets nice and bright. I'll go ahead and turn up the brightness a little bit on it. So yeah, overall, it's pretty good. I think I gotta actually open that up to do that. There we go. Yeah, that just turn on. Nope, let's do that better. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, so it's pretty bright overall. The rings around the camera I really like. They look nice and solid, kind of a little thicker than the on the Flip 5 and the Flip 4. I remember it actually just has a solid feel overall. So yeah, there's that. The one thing I did notice on the inner screen that a couple of other people have commented on is that I don't care about the crease so much. I know some people make a big deal out of it, but if you're buying a folding phone or a flip phone, you're going to have a crease. I mean, it just is what it is. But I noticed that it hasn't really sunken in as much as my Pixel Fold, 9 Pro Fold, and as previous Samsung phones. I had the Fold 5, Fold 4, Fold 3, Flip 4, Flip 5, and did I have a Flip 3? I might have had the Flip 3 as well. And it doesn't, those ones you can kind of tell like pretty quickly where the crease was. But this one, I mean, obviously we know where it is, but it doesn't feel as sunken in as the others do. So whatever they did to the hinge to kind of keep the screen up a little bit more, it seems to be kind of working there. So there's that. Let's see. I think, that's after a few weeks of use. So just, if it's a big deal to you, that's something that you can think about. You don't feel it as much, but to me, honestly, it's not a big deal. The fingerprint scanner is on the site. It works perfectly fine. I have no issues with it at all. I actually do like the physical fingerprint scanner. That's one thing that I kind of prefer. So, that's just something that I like better than even the in-screen fingerprint scanner or Face ID. So I use the fingerprint scanner for the most part. Now the form factor, the one thing I'll say about this phone, and this is kind of where I think I'll kind of comment on it, towards the end of the video as well, is if you want a phone that kind of gets out of your way, this is a good phone. It's extremely pocketable. It'll get out of your way. If you long for like, say, the iPhone mini, but you're okay with Android, if you miss that small form factor of a phone, but then it opens up to something really nice and big, this is a really nice screen when you want to scroll, especially, news articles, even watching videos, but you can keep it this way however you want it, whenever you want to. This is like a really good phone for that. It's extremely pocketable or purseable if you have a purse, carry a purse. You carry something small, like a small bag. I mean, this thing you just throw in your bag and it's no big deal. In terms of the gym shorts pocket test, which is my kind of standard, if I can wear my gym shorts and it doesn't like drag them down, then that phone's light enough for me to take it to the gym, take it for a walk, for a hike or whatever. And this phone, you don't even feel it. I mean, it's in your pocket and it's just doing what it's doing. And you're not even worried about it. If you're an active person, now this might be counterintuitive in some sense because I know that, it doesn't have as strong a water or dust resistance. So if you're out in the dirt a lot or at the beach, then this might be maybe not quite the phone for you. But in some scenario, I think it could be because the one thing about this phone is it's so small that you can have a bulky case on it, like this Poetic Spartan case that I reviewed on the channel earlier. Or you can have a thin case if you want, like the OEM case from Samsung. And it's still not, even with the thick case, it's still not going to feel like it's going to add a lot of weight to it, a lot of bulk to it. Especially because compared to other phones, right? Especially because you're not really, it's not a big phone to begin with and you're putting a bulky case on it. Like with the 9 Pro Fold, when I put the Poetic Spartan case on that one, you definitely feel the difference. With this one, I could have a bulky case like this, put in my pocket. It can move around, get beat up, and it's not going to do anything to the phone because you have this really nice bulky case on it. So in that sense, it's still, even with something that's really protective, it'll still get out of your way. So if you work in a rugged environment, you could put a heavy duty case on it and not feel it much. If you're the kind of person that doesn't necessarily, we all need phones, right? I mean, I guess we don't need them, but they really help, right? I have many students who only have one device and it's their phone because that's all they can afford. They can't afford a laptop. They can't afford a tablet, or maybe they can, but they can only pick one thing. They pick a phone because they need to, they might have to get a job. They need to be able to be contacted with a phone number for whatever reason, right? And they'll do their homework on it. They'll write their papers on it and what have you. And so if you're looking for, which is one of the reasons why I wish this had DeX, because then it would really be the ultimate pocketable device for everything. But you can still like use a heavy duty case and it still doesn't feel like much, right? So just something to think about in terms of that. But this is kind of really a good phone if you want a phone to kind of just, when you want it to get, large, you can have a nice sort of viewable screen. You can watch some nice video. See, and it looks great. And at the same time, you can just flip it closed and be done with it, right? So there's that. The battery life, that's the next thing I want to talk about. I've been really impressed with it. Now, what I usually do when I first get an Android phone is let me move this out of the way, my notes here. I run it only on 5G and I just run the video all night long. Like I'll do that. I'll use it all day long. I'll run the video all night long on YouTube, 4K video, and I'll just keep running the phone until the battery dies. I was literally getting like 11, 12 hours of screen on time running this on 5G. And I was shocked because it's such a small battery. And that was with the phone face down, but open, because I just wanted to drain the battery to get, I kind of trained the phone that way to get me max battery life because it's learning my usage patterns, right? It was outstanding. Now, once I sort of did that and I obviously was using it on a daily basis, I took it to the Hot Wheels Legends Tour show in El Segundo in California near the Mattel store. And, we drove over there. It was like an hour drive, about an hour and a half drive in LA traffic coming back. So two and a half hours on the road, navigating the whole time, took videos, took photos all day long. I posted some of those photos on the YouTube account. I'll post them on my Instagram page as well. I'm going to use my Instagram page for photos. And I didn't run the battery down. Like at the end of the day, I still got 8 to 10 hours of screen on time, which blows away what I was getting on like the Flip 4, Flip 5, and the Flip 3. Like those, because they were newish, especially the Flip 3, you get 3.5, 4 hours of screen on time. You're kind of not feeling too bad about it because it's a small little flip phone. But this thing it's pretty impressive. I was really surprised. Now, obviously, as everyone says, battery life is going to vary depending on how you use it. But for me personally, doing the things I described, navigating for 2 hours, over 2 hours, about 2.5 hours, taking video, taking tons of photos, using it as my main camera for that day, and navigating back, using it as for regular content consumption throughout the day. It still got me. I had like maybe at the end of the day of that day, that was like the heaviest day I used it when I used it outside. I was fully on 5G. I still had like around 15-20% battery life left at the end of the day, which for a flip phone, for a phone this tiny, this small, I was really impressed with. The other thing I've been impressed with so far are the cameras. Now I know they basically have like the S24 cameras on here, S24 Plus cameras on here, and it shows. The photos that I posted to the YouTube page, I was really, really impressed with. Let me see if I think I put it in community here. Yeah, I took these at the show, and I posted them. I'll post them on Instagram as well, and they were amazing. If I had to use this as my only camera, and this is the ultimate sort of test, right? If I had to use this as my only camera, I would totally be comfortable with it. And I'm talking, for me, the camera is like, I'm like a camera person. I don't have like a, telephoto lens type Nikon camera or something of that effect. I just use my phone, right? But I do try to use the best phone camera I can because, obviously you want to save memories, especially I have a kid, pets, what have you, family. And, we went to this show together and you want to take pictures of all these cars, and I was taking pictures of these cars, and they came out perfectly fine. They look great. And I would be completely comfortable if this was my only phone and this was my only phone camera. So I'm really impressed. I was really impressed with the photo quality. They just came out really, really nice. And again, probably through the camera, it doesn't really do it justice. But you can see a lot of detail in some of these photos. And these are the ones that I uploaded to the YouTube channel. And I'll upload them to Instagram as well. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. So there's that. Now, I think the other thing, I'm not a big selfie person, but if you do take selfies, the fact that you can also use this main camera as the selfie camera is also a huge plus. It turns out to be a better selfie camera than most regular phones because you're using the main lens as a selfie camera. This is your main lens, back camera, quote unquote, like for a regular slab phone, right? Like the Pixel 9 Pro XL, that's your main phone. This is your selfie camera too. It puts this on a different level in that sense, in terms of selfie camera. So it's pretty awesome in that sense. Yeah. So there's that. Software, it's Samsung One UI. One UI gets out of your way for the most part. The whole days of Samsung clunkiness are over, so that's not really a thing. My main complaint, as I always have with Samsung phones, are the redundant apps, right? I don't need 2 calendar apps. I don't need 2 messenger apps. I just don't like that. I wish they would just, get rid of the redundancy. If they want to put their own stuff in there because they have One UI software features and Samsung has way more features than sort of standard stock Android, cool, that's fine. But I don't like the redundancy of the calendar app and things like that. It's annoying. The photo library gallery, just stick with Android. Just stick with the Google stuff. I don't see the point in it. I know they're trying to build out an ecosystem with the tablet and the laptop. I've never seen a person in public with a Samsung laptop. I just haven't. And I teach at a college. Like, I've never seen one. Maybe one person. But honestly, no. I don't even, and not even a tablet. Rarely do I see Samsung tablets. Everyone has iPads or they have MacBooks or HPs or, for people who do Windows, my students usually have an HP computer of some sort. Those are the computers I mostly see. So there's that. Now, but I don't have, the software is what it is. It's fine. My only complaint about the software is the outer screen experience. It's really limited. You need to download the GoodLock app to get anything, right? So here, this is the GoodLock. This is the only way you can get apps on it, right? You have to download the GoodLock app. Now, I know through the Samsung store, right? And I know GoodLock is a Samsung app, right? But I shouldn't have to download a GoodLock app. This should just be standard. And I wish that the outer screen functioned like the inner screen, right? It doesn't quite function as well. And it's a little more clunky, right? It's not, and you have to kind of do things sort of one at a time. It's a very basic experience. And it's such a beautiful outer display. Like, you can do so much here. You can add more stuff to it. I only have a couple of things: timer, alarm, recording, calculator, and then I have some apps that I use. I wish I could have multiple pages of this launcher app. I can only have one page, 12 apps, right? And again, it's just really clunky. The overall experience, it's just not very well done. I wish the outer screen functioned as a mini, fully functional screen, and it's very basic. So that's the one complaint I have. I know some people prefer the Motorola Razr Plus, and that maybe that's the way to go if you want the outer screen experience. Is it a deal breaker? No, not necessarily. It's just kind of annoying. But once you get used to it and its limitations, you're going to be fine with it. So there's that. Performance-wise, the chipset is fine. It's the latest Snapdragon chipset. It does heat up maybe a little bit more than my S24 Ultra and other phones that are larger, or but it's a smaller phone. So it's not to the point where it's unusable or it gives it any performance issues or problems. It's never shut down on me. Nothing like that. But it does heat up a little bit more. There's a dog barking outside. I don't know if you can hear it or not. Anyway, so what's the verdict? What's the overall verdict before my dog starts barking at that dog? This is a really great phone. I mean, I know some people have complained, and I've seen on Reddit, and I've seen folks say that, they've had issues with the digitizer and the inner disc screen or whatever. I haven't had those issues. It's really, I think it's great. Sounds good. It's loud. Samsung Galaxy Z Flip metallic gun metal case. It comes in different colors as well. So yeah, I mean, it's loud. It looks great. You can get the big screen. You can get the small screen. What I really like about this phone is, let me go ahead and go through my. What I really like about it is like the articles, right? You can read like just on this thing, and it's awesome. The reading experience is great. You can scroll, and it's a little thinner than your standard slab phone, and maybe a little longer in some sense, but this is great. This part is awesome. It's a great device to read articles. I love going through the Google feed and just, picking out my articles, whatever I want to read, whatever I'm interested in. It's a great reading experience in that sense. So I really enjoy it in that, and I think the videos, the fact that you can just have it like this the whole time. I could put it in a big, huge case, and it doesn't get that bulky. I mean, it still fits perfectly fine in my pocket. It doesn't feel, when I put any other phone and I put a thick case on it, even if it's just a 9 Pro XL or the iPhone 15 Pro Max or the S24 Ultra, you really feel it. This one, you don't. I mean, this still feels really manageable, really small. I get hinge protection. I have this Poetic case has, the kickstand, all the things you need, or I can put a really thin case on it. And again, it's still great. So, if you want a phone that's going to get out of your way, but you want it to, at least give you some functionality of having a bigger screen at times when you want it, but will get out of your way most of the time. Get yourself a nice thick case like this, one of these Poetic cases or something equivalent, whatever you prefer, and you'll be fine. Like, it's still really manageable. You can even have a thinner case on it that barely, covers it and makes it even smaller. And you'll have a phone that gets out of your way, but is available when you need it. So I recommend it if you can get it for a good price. I know Samsung for the holidays is going to have, probably some deals on it. I would not pay $10.99 for this phone. I didn't pay anywhere near that. I paid literally less than half price. I know in the United States, they do these crazy sales. Like, you have to catch them. But it was on Slick Deals for like $480, no trade-in required, with an education discount. And that was like out the door with tax included. And, if you were lucky enough to get that deal, and if you were lucky enough that your account actually was able to functionally get that deal, because some people were saying on Slick Deals that they were getting it for $550 or $580 or whatever, even at $600, that's still a bargain. It's a good phone. I wouldn't pay $1,100 for it, no way. But if you can pay, with a trade-in, you can get some discounts on it through Samsung. If you can get it through your carrier for cheaper, this is one of those phones that a lot of US carriers will just give away with their account, right? When you upgrade, kind of like the Pixel 9 Pro XL. There's certain phones, iPhone 15 Pro, certain phones that you can, if you upgrade to the top level account or whatever, you can get for free. This is one of them. So yeah, or you can go on Samsung's website and get it for cheap. But again, it depends where you live. Like, I know I have a lot of viewers from India. It's my second most viewership is in India. Thank you, folks in India. I don't know what the prices are there for this. I don't know if you get the same kind of discounts or trade-ins, obviously. So I wouldn't pay $1,100 for it. But if you can get it on a discount or cheap, in the $700, $800 range with your trade-in, maybe a little cheaper, or if you get lucky the way I did and pay less than $500 for it, with no trade-in required, unlocked from Samsung, then by all means, I would definitely get it. If this is the kind of phone that you want. Okay, well, that's all I got for this phone, the Galaxy Z Flip 6. I think it's something I could recommend at the right price, for the right use case, for the right person. It's a phone that'll get out of your way, but still provide you with the things that a phone provides everyone when you want it. Okay? All right, hope you're well, hope your family's well, and take care of yourself.